Last week, Doctor Who director Peter Hall did an interview with Deadline about his new production company and how he hoped that he would get the opportunity to direct Blake's Seven once it had been bought. He also spoke about Doctor Who, and what he said about it was extremely telling. Hello and welcome back to Chat About It, Don't Shout About It with me, Rachel, the Queen of the Woke, as crowned by one of my haters.
Crown you Queen of the Woke!
Let's chat about it. So please do let me know what you think about this in the comment section below, and please do keep it friendly in the chat. It's Doctor Who. I know what it does. I know what it does. Yes, this is getting a slot on the weekdays show instead of the Sunday because it is important to acknowledge this, and it adheres to the entertainment industry very well. This is obviously not the first time open critique has been said about the show recently. However, it does amaze me that someone who has worked directly with this particular production has come out and said this. Now, I will put in some added context into this first, okay? He says that what he says about Blake Seven is going to apply to what he says about Doctor Who, and I will be sure to leave the article link, the full article, to Deadline below, because that's where the original article came from. So prior to mentioning Doctor Who, he was talking about his production company. He also speaks about Blake's Seven, and this is what he had to say about it. The Blake's Seven story is legendary because they were given the British police show Softly Softly slot that was intended for police drama with a budget intended for one big set and a few location shoots, said the double BAFTA winner Hall, whose credits include It's a Sin and Umbrella Academy. At the time, it felt like it meant something. Those shows got into my veins, and I could tell that they didn't have any money, but I was able to compartmentalize and enjoy the ride knowing that the sets wobbled. This is why this comment is important. This logic applies to the original Doctor Who show, the classic. The nostalgic atmosphere the show brought, the wobbly sets, the low budget and quick time frame to film, all of that is what made shows like Blake's Seven work, and the same applies to Doctor Who. However, he does go on to say this. He said, Doctor Who, which Disney Plus has just exited after only 2 seasons of one of the biggest co-pro deals of the decade, is a cautionary tale. I don't think anybody would doubt the skills at the front line or that show, but something went wrong. No way, he added. I think that there were lots of areas you could point fingers at, but ultimately it wasn't a better show with more money, and that's a good thing because we haven't got the money anymore. Nobody has. Whoa, ouch. That has got to hurt. Really has got to hurt. I'm not sure what RTD would think of that particular remark. I would say that the former It's a Sin director will not be working with him anytime soon after that comment. That's one of the things, though, that we have been saying. They got the money, they spent loads of it, and for the conversion, for the special effects and the conversion rate to Disney that was required for Disney Plus, it seemed like other than that, they were just throwing spaghetti at the wall to see what would stick. We didn't see really what they could do with that particular money. The money didn't make it a better show. We knew it didn't. Even when it came back in 2005, the extra money that was put into it then didn't necessarily make it a better show. However, they do say more often than not that you need to listen to your fans with how the show is being received, but nobody has been listening to us since the Jodie Whittaker era. They are all out to change things for selfish reasons other than catering to the fandom. Russell T Davies made out that he was catering to the fandom by bringing back the Rani. No knocks given to Anita or Archie. If you saw my reviews, exactly what I thought of those two playing the Rani. It wasn't really catering, though, was it? There was a good demographic, myself included, who believed that she shouldn't return. She should be left alone. And then you have Omega. What was that? They used the money and they made him look atrocious. They took all the practicality out of him in order to spend that money, when in reality, it would have been much better spent with more screen time and a similar costume to what he had in his first appearance, or even his second. I would have taken that over than what we got with Omega. But no listening was going on. RTD was on a power-driven mission to do whatever he wanted with the show. Even if I had sat down with my non-analytic head on with no intention of reviewing what I ended up reviewing, I still would have questioned it, I think. I really do. What amazes me, though, is that you have a director who has worked directly with the last series. He directed both The Robot Revolution and Lucky Day, both of which, from a visual directorial standpoint, look okay. Lucky Day more than Incels, though. Not only that, he also directed A Good Man Goes to War. So his association with the series predates the Gatwa era, so his expectations are already higher than compared to what he ended up directing with Disney. A director coming forward and openly critiquing a show after this is absolutely amazing. I don't know how long a director's NDA would stand for after filming a show, but it tells us that even people working on it would have had some doubts about the show's extra money and what they were doing for it. Peter couldn't have said this, and got away lightly with it. Something is probably going to happen. I don't know. I really don't. And he also can't be the only one who thought this way, who worked on the production. The difference is he braved it and he came out with it, even if he didn't point the finger directly. Now, what that would spell out for him in his career, I really don't know. Openly critiquing the production could result in a blacklist from the BBC. Who knows, really? He's probably very well aware of that. He also didn't openly point a finger at RTD himself. However, I couldn't imagine that RTD would be okay with that too. I always get the impression in recent years that you have to agree with him, or else. I think it's safe to say that the show going back to a reduced budget would be better for it. It really would. The extra money took the thought out of it of how to make it realistic. I also think it's safe to say that Peter will not be directing the Christmas special. I would be very surprised if he did. There you go, though. That's what I think. Let me know what you think. Check out some of the other content I have picked out for you. Thank you very much for watching. Chat about it, don't shout about it. Bye-bye. Thank you for watching today. Don't forget you can join me on my other platforms as well. I've got YouTube, Rumble, Spotify, X, TikTok, Instagram, Locals, Substack, and I also have a Discord. Everything is linked below.